Audio Jungle.
Second game.
Yeah, and really big adjustments there coming out from James, making sure that he brought the Rotom Wash early to exert that pressure. Didn't bring the Dragapult this time. Dragapult was doing nothing in this matchup, especially if Raghav is going to show Trick Room mode. So really smart adjustments there from James to allow himself to get to this, to force this game 3. And it's now, this is it.
This is it.
This is game 3 of top 8. One of these players is going to win this game and advance to the top 4, and the other one is going to end their tournament today.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because, like, you know, Raghav, if you wanted to counter, like, Tyranitar Rotom specifically, could just hard lead his own Tyranitar. And, you know, that does so much damage. But then the thing is, then Excadrill can just get a switch in and maybe put in a lot of work. And with the threat of Intimidate from James, if he brings the Arcanine, it makes Dynamax Tyranitar a lot weaker. So I really am not sure there's like a super consistent lead here that will work out against everything. And we've already seen a lot of, you know, information and knowledge from both players. But oh man, this is like a nerve-wracking situation to be in, especially because you both have the Tyranitar, you both have the Excadrill, so you don't necessarily want to set up the sand. And you're going to see a little bit of an adjustment from James here, bringing in Rotom once again, which I like.
All right, but Raghav is going to bring out the Excadrill and Togekiss. Sam leads from the first for Raghav. James, that Arcanine and Rotom Wash, that's a good lead matchup.
Yeah, excellent adjustment there by swapping out the Togekiss for the Arcanine. Gets that Intimidate off immediately, which is so big against Raghav's Excadrill. But, you know, we've seen Raghav just go for something like Follow Me and Swords Dance here, and if there's an opportunity to go for it, I mean, this seems like a decent time for it. Arcanine's not going to be able to do that much damage, but of course we actually saw that it does have Heat Wave, so
Follow Me is not going to help out.
Exactly, yeah. But James actually going to swap out that Arcanine here, so this is an opportunity for Excadrill to get a big Swords Dance off.
All right, Togekiss swapping in for the Arcanine. James going to keep that Intimidate in the back just in case he needs to continue to drop the attack. Some pretty heavy hitters out on the field now. Tyranitar swaps in. The Sandstream activates, which means that Excadrill will now be able to go first because of the Sand Rush. And just going to go ahead and immediately Dynamax at -1, but still going to go ahead and go big.
I have to wonder, is it a Max Quake into the Arcanine that switched into Togekiss? If so, that's a huge play by James. Regardless, Excadrill won't be able to do that much damage because of the Intimidate unless you call the Togekiss switch in and go for a Max Steel Spike in that slot.
Rotom just going to go ahead and protect as well, so not much damage no matter what happened here. Oh, and that's the Excadrill's Max Quake into the Togekiss that swapped in. That is one turn of Dynamax down and a great switch from James.
Yeah, and you can serve the Arcanine as well, so you can bring it back in right now for another Intimidate if you want to. Like, Rotom here has a bunch of options. Obviously, it protected last turn, so you could consider even going for a Nasty Plot, or maybe you just want to Dynamax and just go for an attack immediately. For example, one play you could make is Dynamax and just go for Max Geyser into Excadrill. That also gets rid of the sand. And I could see James maybe cycling in for more Intimidates as well, but maybe not this turn.
All right, Gourgeist coming in now instead of the Tyranitar. Shows the scope lens on Togekiss, which explains all of the crits James has been getting throughout the tournament. Follow Me makes Togekiss the center of attention and makes sure that Excadrill's Max Rockfall is going to target it down. Deals big damage to Togekiss, but because of the Intimidate, able to survive that with 69 hit points. Rotom goes ahead and Nasty Plots on up, getting set up to sweep. Ready for a Dynamax next turn, most likely, as Gourgeist switches in.
So James finally getting the Nasty Plot off with this Rotom, and this time around it's not Yawn. So this is kind of the thing I was expecting to see maybe earlier on in the matches, and now here it is finally. Hasn't really taken much Dynamax, hasn't taken much damage, and more importantly for James, Raghav's Dynamax is going to end after this turn, and you can see the utility of just a single Intimidate against these big Dynamax Pokemon.
Yeah, one Intimidate's good, two Intimidates is better. Arcanine back out on the field, hits both the Gourgeist and the Excadrill. So Gourgeist Seed Bombs aren't going to be dealing that much damage to the Rotom anymore because of the Intimidate and also because of this Dynamax coming in.
Yeah, so Dynamax Rotom here will be able to do a ton of damage. It's not going to get a knockout here, but will be able to start putting on offensive pressure, especially if, you know, Excadrill goes for a Max Rockfall, won't even do that much damage with the double Intimidate. I think Gourgeist here probably is going to be wanting to set up a Trick Room, but even with Trick Room, I mean, now you've got a really scary Rotom to stare down. And yeah, here's a Max Rockfall. Let's see how much damage it does.
All right, another Max Rockfall coming out from the Excadrill. Does about 50% of the damage of Arcanine. Good damage, but not enough given the 2 Intimidates that have hit. That Max Geyser brings Excadrill all the way down to its Focus Sash, removes the weather, and sets the rain for itself instead. Should this Gourgeist go for the Trick Room, that actually ends up helping Raghav here, because now Excadrill is not going to have the speed of that Sand Rush as Gourgeist does twist the dimensions and set the Trick Room.
Yeah, this is now the power of Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash should outspeed the Excadrill here, right? So with Trick Room being up, you can pretty safely go for another Max Geyser into that slot. No way really around that. I mean, you could maybe just switch it out, but that's pretty risky as well because whatever's coming in is
nasty
speeding up.
plot up.
Exactly.
Plot boosted, not great. And
with the Intimidate on the Gourgeist as well, Seed Bomb's really not doing very much damage. I really like how James recognizes, okay, Rotom is my main win condition, so let me pull the switch out into Togekiss to go for future Follow Me's because I know I won't take much damage from something like Seed Bomb.
Yeah, look at how little damage that Seed Bomb ended up doing to Rotom. Another Max Geyser here is just, that's way more damage than that 1 hit point needed to take here. Looks like that's going to be it for Raghav's Excadrill. Togekiss now on the field alongside the Rotom means that Rotom's a little bit protected from Seed Bombs with Follow Me's, but Tyranitar now back out on the field and under Trick Room may have access to some abilities to take down that Rotom Wash.
Yeah, so this time around, Raghav does get Tyranitar in safely under Trick Room for multiple turns, but he can't Dynamax the Tyranitar. Rotom still has a turn of Dynamax, and James also still has that Arcanine in the back, so you could just swap out and bring in another Intimidate.
Tyranitar is going to try and protect and try to avoid as much damage from this Max Geyser as possible.
Oh, is he going to activate the weakness policy through Protect? Let's see.
That's a Seed Bomb from Gourgeist into the Follow Me. Togekiss deals no damage whatsoever, so still going to have to stick around. Max Geyser.
Whoa, is it going into?
Max Geyser does connect with Tyranitar. The Protect protects Tyranitar from a lot of that damage and gets itself the weakness policy boost. Going to be able to deal some big damage here now with Rock Slide.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. There's still 2 turns of Trick Room, so Rock Slide's going to be doing a ton of damage. James still has all of his Pokemon, and there is still the Arcanine that you can switch into for Intimidate, so it's not over by any means, especially because we've seen this Rotom has Protect. I mean, you could
there's still plenty of opportunities to stall.
Exactly, and there's only 2 turns of Trick Room left, so that's what you're looking for. But activating the weakness policy, I think, gives Raghav at least a little bit more offense now. I think you can very safely click Rock Slide with Tyranitar, and Gourgeist could do a bunch of attacks here, but maybe Seed Bomb is safe. You could also even consider switching out the Gourgeist into your last Pokemon and provide more utility. But I like the play there from both ends. You know, if the Tyranitar doesn't protect there, you have a decent shot of just getting a KO there. And if it does, well, you know, then at least it's not attacking this turn, and there's only 2 turns of Trick Room left.
All right, James will retreat the Togekiss in favor of Arcanine to try and start getting rid of those weakness policy boosts. Intimidate's going to be helpful, but Tyranitar still has a boost from the weakness policy, going to need a little bit more than just the 1 Intimidate here. Big damage from Gourgeist on Seed Bomb. Of course, taking another Intimidate means the big damage is minimal damage, tiny little Seed Bombs, just enough to activate the Rotom's Citrus Berry and heal itself back up a little bit. And here comes the Rock Slide from Tyranitar. So much damage on the Arcanine, but Rotom cleanly able.
Is there a flinch, though? We just saw Rock Slide and just how good it can be, and Rotom gets the Hydro Pump and it connects. That's so huge. Wow. That should get the knockout onto Tyranitar, and a absolutely game-defining play there by James. Says, I'm not going to protect. I know I can survive the double target with a Seed Bomb and a Rock Slide. Doesn't get flinch, connects the Hydro Pump, and wow, that's just such a big turn, especially if we haven't even seen James's last Pokemon yet.
Yeah, I mean, especially after that second Intimidate, there was just nothing that Raghav could do there that did not have the damage, needed to rely on a flinch, did not get it.
Yeah.
Togekiss back out for James to continue to protect that Rotom. Last turn of Trick Room can just stall this out once more. But Togekiss is fully healthy on Raghav's side. Really might come down to what is going to be that last Pokemon.
Yeah, if you look at what James's last Pokemon could be, though, these are all some of the biggest offensive threats in the Excadrill, Gourgeist, and the Tyranitar. So yeah, I mean, this is the last turn of Trick Room. Perhaps you'll want to protect the Rotom, stall out the Trick Room, and then you can go for like a super effective Thunderbolt. I mean, maybe Raghav's win condition at this point is getting up another Trick Room and hoping to survive, and their Rotom does go for the Protect.
Yeah, just stalling out this last turn of Trick Room with that Protect. Seed Bomb will actually connect with the Togekiss, probably recognizing that Gourgeist wasn't going to be able to get anything done through that Protect, as Dazzling Gleam from Raghav's Togekiss will be able to pick up the KO on the opposite side. So now we will see what James's last Pokemon is as Trick Room expires here.
Yeah, let's see what it is. Something like, it's going to be that Excadrill, which I think isn't too surprising, but of course we know that Raghav's Togekiss does have that Babiri Berry, and we know that it has Protect. So one play you could actually make here is just go for a Protect on Togekiss instead of Trick Room, so then if James wants to counteract that, you can double up into Gourgeist with a Hydro Pump and Ice or Iron Head, and maybe
hope for the flinch.
Yeah, exactly. All right, there's the Protect on Togekiss. He's going for the Trick Room play, I think. Did James call this and double up into Gourgeist?
That's a Protect.
Oh, he's rock sliding. Okay.
That's like Iron Head.
It is, yeah.
Connects. Going to deal damage to Gourgeist. Just a little bit of damage.
Hydro Pump. Oh, it misses.
It misses.
And Trick Room goes up.
Trick Room.
Wow. That's so huge.
No flinches. Trick Room up for another full set. Fully healthy Togekiss, still fully healthy Gourgeist. Gourgeist, of course, not dealing a lot of damage, but Rotom's only at 33 hit points. That might just be enough, and all you need is one hit point onto Excadrill to break that Focus Sash.
I think that might be enough for Raghav to win this game, but it's still going to be close. I mean, Gourgeist is intimidated multiple times, but we know that Raghav does have the Babiri Berry on that Togekiss, and a Dazzling Gleam should just knock out the Rotom on the opposing side. So now you have to make the call, you know, do you just go for something like Yawn into, I think one thing you could consider is maybe Yawning Excadrill and Seed Bombing. You still have to do enough damage to this Excadrill, that's the main thing. Rotom is going to go for this first Protect though, yeah. Okay,
Rotom just protecting this turn, trying to avoid Seed Bomb damage from Gourgeist as it does. And Togekiss does have the Yawn, like you called, going to put the Excadrill to sleep, not after this turn, but after next turn. Iron Head actually on the Gourgeist, just dealing a little bit of damage right back. No flinch chance, of course, because the Gourgeist has already moved.
I think that's a great play there, though, by Raghav, because now you can just go for the C-Bomb onto Rotom, protect the Togekiss, Excadrill guaranteed falls asleep, and Rotom actually goes for the double but doesn't get it.
Doesn't get it. Haven't seen too many double protects this time around. Rotom not getting it at all. Seed Bomb is enough to pick up the KO, even after all of those Intimidates. So just Excadrill, which has this turn to deal damage before falling asleep. Dazzling Gleam just dealing 40 hit points there, so it might take a while to actually deal the damage to Excadrill as the Iron Head's dealing a little bit more damage, and again, the Excadrill goes to sleep.
Yeah, nice play there, though, predicting that Excadrill might not target Togekiss, expecting and protect, instead just goes for the Dazzling Gleam. And you know, Gourgeist and Togekiss aren't doing much damage, but you need all the damage you can get. Excadrill's going to take a guaranteed turn to sleep, and the Trick or Treat comes out. I think that's our first time seeing it use that. You know, that's going to take away, you're going to get the Dazzling Gleam off. And so more importantly, it doesn't actually take away the Steel typing, but now Gourgeist will still be able to, I guess, you can Phantom Force.
Yeah, it allows Gourgeist to hit for super effective damage on the Phantom Force.
Yeah.
Which, this is again the last turn of Trick Room.
Yep.
It could go Phantom Force here, disappear, not be able to be targeted, and then next turn not be able to be targeted again.
That was
the
so
coolest
sick.
thing.
That was so sick. Just really brilliantly played in this endgame by Raghav. I think, yeah, James kind of needed to go for a flinch. I was kind of surprised to see, I guess, the Rock Slide, but I guess Iron Head and Hydro Pump probably still wasn't knocking out that Gourgeist anyway. I mean, the rain was up, and it was +2 Rotom, but it would have been close. Excadrill's going to take that final turn of sleep, and yeah, this should just be a KO this turn. Raghav's going to move on to the top 4.
That's a full sleep for Excadrill, and here comes the Phantom Force after the Trick or Treat. Super effective damage from the Gourgeist. The Gourgeist taking Raghav to the top 4.
That was a phenomenal